My father was S. Sylvan Simon. He was my natural father. He made movies like Born Yesterday and All the King's Men, and he died when he was making From Here to Eternity. And my stepfather, move over here, was named Armand Deutsch. This was one of his movies at MGM, Green Fire, with Stuart Granger and Grace Kelly and Paul Douglas. And by the way, I am not related to Stuart Granger, because Stuart Granger's real name was Jimmy Stewart. But he couldn't use that name because we already had one. One of my closest friends is Janie Powell, who lives quite near here in Wilton. My dad put her in her first movie called Song of the Open Road, and I've known Jane since I was 4 years old. And this just happens to be a fun movie poster of hers. This is The Magnificent Yankee, which Armand Deutsch produced. I don't have too many of Sylvan Simon's posters. I wish I did. On Golden Pond, because Henry Fonda was one of our family's very close friends. All of these mean something. This was another Armand Deutsch. Ambush with Robert Taylor. And it's funny, Saturday night we just had dinner with Arlene Dahl and her husband. And Arlene worked both for Sylvan and for Armand. The Ten Commandments was part of a Paramount picture, but Artie had a lot to do with that. And let me see what else we've got over here. Titanic has really nothing to do with our family.
What's it like growing up in Hollywood as a kid back in the day?
Oh, it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. I had a great time. You got to remember, I didn't have to earn a living in the movies. My dad was a director. I worked for my father and had a wonderful time. It wasn't like the other child stars. My friend Dickie Moore from Our Gang and the Little Rascals, wrote a book called Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, But Don't Have Sex or Take the Car. And what he found out was that the child actors had to earn a living and support their families. And there was a great deal of stress, and it was a terrible way for them to grow up. Not for me. I had a great time. My dad, or friends of my dad, were my directors, and I just it was like playing Let's Pretend. This is a picture of Frank Sinatra, who was a very close family friend, and it's autographed. It says, "For Susan from her favorite Italian chef," because he'd always cook for us, and we'd bring him angel hair pasta from New Haven.